My name's Katherine Swift and I'm the founder of OMGTea. We're established since 2014, but my journey with Matcha started in 2009. So back in 2009, my mum was diagnosed with breast cancer. I wanted to do everything that I could to help her as her daughter. And through the connections that I had in business, I ended up project managing a £5 million appeal for breast cancer now. So we were identifying high net worth individuals and taking them around the research unit to meet the scientists and see the science in action. And really fortunately for me and Mum, Professor Michael Lasanti, who was the research director at the time, was really interested in natural compounds. So that's where I found out about a natural compound called EGCG that is found in green tea. And so I wanted Mum to drink the green tea with the most EGCG in it. And because of how matcha is cultivated and processed, it has about 130 times the EGCG of regular green tea. So I just started buying it from Japan for me and Mum to drink. And I felt so passionate about its potential curative effect and also how it was making us feel, because it has this unique combination of caffeine and L-theanine. So the L-theanine slows the release of the caffeine. So like an average matcha has about 35 milligrams of caffeine. So people think it's got loads of caffeine in. It hasn't. It's just this synergistic thing that happens with the L-theanine that slows the release of the actual caffeine, so you don't get the spike and slump in the same way that you might with other caffeinated drinks. And sort of health underpins the business. I mean, obviously, quality matcha, you can't have a quality matcha or a non-quality matcha that has health benefits. So health and quality come hand in hand, which is why we're a premium brand. We've got a really great range of matcha to cater for different occasion uses. But yeah, so I founded the business 2014, as I said, and then in 2023, we were invested in by the biggest producer of matcha in Japan, Aya Japan, who've been my only supplier since day one. So we've now delighted to be at the London Coffee Festival because we've just launched our food service offering, because with the relationship with Aya, it just means that we've got access to a much broader range of product.
If someone hasn't been to the London Coffee Festival before, what would you say to them to entice them to come here? Why would they want to come to the London Coffee Festival?
It's just like the energy is on a different level. I mean, we've done trade shows before, and I know this is a mix of the two, but literally you walk in and the place vibes. It's amazing. It's so much fun coming as a visitor, but it's great to exhibit. And you know, the conversations that we're even having with other businesses that are here about potential collaborations is just great.
That's awesome. Do you mind me asking how your mother is?
Good, thank you very much. Yeah, no, she's brilliant. I actually was on the phone to her the other day and it was like, Mum, could you actually believe 11 years ago when I set up OMGTea that this is what would have happened? I mean, matcha has gone absolutely stratospheric literally in the last 6 months.
Yeah. I was just wondering, because there is a bit of a shortage of supply in Japan at the moment of matcha tea. How is that, do you think, going to affect, your business, but the matcha industry here in the UK in general?
It will. It's starting to have an effect already. There's a few factors. There are 30,000 tea farmers in Japan. Only 500 of them know how to cultivate matcha. So the demand is massively outstripping the supply. And, the harvest is taking place at the moment because it was a really hot summer last year. They think that the harvest is possibly not going to be as good, whilst this demand globally, not just in the UK, is sort of skyrocketing. So there's going to be people not, being able to source matcha for sure by the autumn, maybe even now. And then I think, things might start to ease after next year's harvest. So maybe, summer, autumn next year is when we'll start seeing the 26 harvest. And actually, I think, so the Japanese government are incentivizing tea farmers to learn to cultivate matcha.
I was just going to say, I mean, out of 30,000 and there's only 500, there's a massive opportunity there to increase the education and the quality, because I was wondering about the quality and what you're possibly going to do to sort of mitigate those issues that might come up.
Yeah, we just got to plan really, really well. So we're planning our containers that are coming in via sea for spring next year already. So we have to plan meticulously, but we're really fortunate because our supply chain's really strong because of who we are we're invested in obviously by Aya, and they're going to look after us. I think the other thing that is going to help with the sort of the cultivation or the amount of matcha produced is that there is new technology that is going to enhance cultivation, but also new technology in processing as well. So, hopefully again by 2026, some of that technology will have started to have an impact.
Amazing. So for a hardcore coffee drinker like myself, how would you suggest I drink a matcha to kind of entice me into the matcha craze?
So maybe just try one a day. We have ran for 7 years now something called the Matcha Challenge, which we run every January, where we encourage people to just drink one matcha for 21 days straight. And then we get their feedback. So they fill in a survey. The feedback's phenomenal. Literally people will say, no word of a lie, it's changed my life.
What am I going to feel after 21 days?
All sorts of stuff. I mean, people are because they're actually making that positive change anyway, it encourages them to do other positive things, maybe exercise a bit more, maybe be a bit more mindful about other things that they're consuming. But yeah, like I said, the feedback, the majority, it's something like 98% people are like, right, well, this is my routine now. They become matcha converts.
And you can start just with a little bit and then maybe build up to the recommended dose of matcha.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, again, if you're caffeine sensitive, you might want to just take it easy, but it's not high in caffeine. It's like 35 milligrams on average per serving, where a coffee's well over 100 probably, so, and it's a slow sustained release. I don't know if I mentioned that it was introduced into Japanese culture 800 years ago by the Buddhist monks, because they discovered it helped them to meditate for longer, because the caffeine was energizing their bodies and the L-theanine was stilling and focusing the minds. The samurais used to drink it before battle for energy and focus. So it does actually genuinely have a big impact on people's well-being, mental health. It honestly, I mean, listen, I'm obviously going to be passionate about it, but it's such a phenomenal product. But it has to be quality. There's a lot of, matcha on the market.
Quality is at the top of the priority list. Well, on that, I'm going to have a little drink of your matcha, and then I'm going to samurai my way through the London Coffee Festival. Cheers. Thank you.